Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on Kittens in a Row Swatch. Yay! This is swatch number 10. And if you are joining us new, we are actually in the process of doing a swatch blanket for 2021. We will be doing one swatch, let's try two swatches. Oh, wake up, Mary. Already I'm starting. Month for the next few months now. We've been doing this throughout the year so far. Now, if you would like to try the other past swatches that we have already done, I will leave a link in a description box down below, and that's the little arrow you see down the bottom that goes like that. Just click on that arrow and up will come the description box, and right at the very top there'll be a link that says playlist to our swatch blanket of 2021. Okay, click on that playlist and you'll have swatch 1 all the way up to this one right here. Okay, it starts at swatch 1 and goes down, if that helps. All right, but in the meantime, we're working on Kittens in a Row. Now, I've had to play with the pattern to make our size because the actual pattern itself does not call for 3 double crochets along there and 3 along there. I've had to play with it. I think it called for 2 only, but it didn't add up to what we wanted for our swatch number, which I believe was 20 centimeters 8 inches. Okay, so we'll talk about that throughout the tutorial, so don't stress too much. But the yarn you will need today, if you are here in Australia, we are using for this particular piece the Spot Saver USA style, and I believe it is a 10 fly, which is a number 4 overseas or an Aran weight. All right, it does call for a 5mm hook. We are using the 5mm hook today and have been throughout the whole tutorial. Let's just say throughout the whole series. It's 28 grams altogether, or 30 grams roughly altogether. So you're looking at about between 6 and 7 grams each. I use a little bit less of the blue because, as you can tell, the blue only has the 2 rows. All right, so you would probably need a little bit more for your white, purple, and the rest. Okay, so we need the blue. Yes. I call it a white, but it's actually a cream or a natural, if you will, whichever you would like to use. And this is called, this one's a big mess. I can't take it all out. Look at the mess. This one is called Violet. Okay, it's a bit dark, but I can't believe the mess of it. Look. Oh, talk about, I'm going to have to fix that up later, that's all. And this one is called Hot Pink. Okay, and this one here is just called the light pink, or just called pink, sorry, and that's the lighter one. I actually prefer this one throughout the whole of this piece. I actually prefer this light pink. So there you go, and I'm not a big pink fan, so my regular subscribers would know that, but I do prefer the lighter pink in this particular tutorial. So I'm going to let you know exactly what else you will need before you head off on your own and work. And you will need your 5mm hook, your scissors, your darning, sewing, weaving needle, 1 or 2, maybe 3 stitch markers. I haven't decided yet until I start working on it. I know that sounds ridiculous. And you will need your measuring tape because your piece needs to measure, and I will show you just quickly, 20 centimeters or 8 inches across the width, and 20 centimeters or 8 inches across the length. So it's 20 by 20. All right, so I'm not going to talk anymore. We're just going to get started creating our gorgeous Kittens in a Row swatch. Good luck, guys. Alrighty guys, we're going to start off by doing a quick slip knot, and that's grabbing your tail end of your yarn, wrapping it around your finger once and twice, holding it there and holding it down there. Grab your back loop, passing it halfway over. Grab the other loop, passing it all the way over your finger, pop your hook in, giving your work a bit of a tug. Okay. Now, as I mentioned in the promo, I actually did have to change the pattern to suit our swatch. So I believe it was chain 3, add 4 at the end or something like that. But look, don't worry about that. Let's just worry about how many chains we're doing for our swatch. And that is chaining 27. And a chain is a yarn over your hook, pull a loop through once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. All right, from here, see that top one right there? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's these loops you see right here. I'm counting as little loops, or little V's if you will. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the very next one, which is the fifth one, we are popping a double crochet. It's yarn over your hook in that little loop right there. Pull a loop through, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. All right, yarn over your hook in the very next stitch, right next to it. You're going to pop another one of those double crochets in the loop, pull a loop through, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. All right, now the pattern's going to change now. Okay, so what we're going to have here is skipping 1 and 2, and you're jumping into that third one with 2 double crochets. So you've got your yarn over your hook straight into your third stitch, and you're doing 1. Oops, let's try that again. Skip 1, 2, jump into your third, 1 and 2. All right, yes, chain 1. And now we're going to jump straight into that very next stitch with 2 double crochets again. 1 and 2. All right, so from here, you've got your 2 sets right there. Yarn over your hook. You're going to skip 2 chains again, jump into the third one with 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Chain 1. Straight into your next one with another 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Skip 1 and 2, jump into your next one with 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Chain 1. Now you're only chaining 1 when we're going into the 2 sets of 2 double crochets, all right? Not between them, not between each section, but into the sets, okay? Now we're putting 2 double crochets in your next stitch. And 2. Skip 1 and 2, and 2 double crochets into that next stitch. 1 and 2. Chain 1, and this is the last time we're going to do this. We're going to put 2 double crochets into your next stitch. 1, oops, and 2. Now hopefully if you played your cards right, you should have 5 stitches left, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. If you don't have 5 left, then you may have gone wrong somewhere along the line. We are skipping 1 and 2, jump into your third one with a double crochet. Your next one with a double crochet, and your very last stitch, which is relatively tight, but it is there, with a double crochet. All right, so let me show you what you should have. You should have your 3 double crochets here. It's actually 2 plus these chains. You should have 2 cluster sets together of 2 double crochets and a chain in the middle, yes? And you should have skipped 2, had 2 cluster sets, skipped 2, 2 cluster sets, skipped 2, 2 cluster sets, and 3 double crochets. Now the original pattern only has the 2 on each side, okay? If yours is really loose stitching and you're work is relatively big, then you may need to put only 2, but you won't tell until you get up to about the 4th row or the 5th row, because this work closes up a little, okay? It does get a little tighter, so just be wary of that, okay? From here, we are going to, let me bring that out a little bit, turn our work. Now you can turn it any way you like. You can turn your work this way or you can turn it that way. Just remain consistent, and I'm just going to turn my work like I turn the page in a book. Yes, and then we're just going to chain up 3. 1, 2 and 3, and in that third one right there we're going to pop a stitch marker, 2 loops on top and 1 loop on that bottom part there. All right, in your first 2, this is where your stitches are. See those little spaces? If you give them a little stretch, you see that little gap right there. All right, now the chain 3 will act as a double crochet in this round, okay? So don't worry about putting anything in that first stitch because your chains are in there. But in your very next stitch right there, you're going to pop a double crochet, and that's that little space you see. You're not sure about it, just give your work a tug and you can see it. You got your 2 loops on top and your actual post down the bottom. So yarn over your hook in the top of that stitch right there, doing your double crochet. 1. In your very next one, you're going to do exactly the same. And this will be the same in every round. You will have these 3 double crochets. This is classified as a double crochet. So you'll have 3 double crochets at the start of your work and 3 double crochets at the end. From here, you're going to skip these 2 double crochets. And remember that chain that we did? You're going to pop what we call a shell inside that space. And a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. So in you go, right in the space. 1, 2, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. All right. Now, from here, we're going to jump over 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip all those stitches, jump into that space with 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets with your shell. It's called a shell stitch. So when you hear me say shell, it's 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets, all in that chain space. 1 and 2. All right. Once again, skipping over these 4 stitches, doing our shell. 2, chain 1 and 2. Once again, jumping over 1, 2, 3, 4 into the space with our shell of 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. All right, now from here we are skipping the 1 and the 2 double crochets, okay? But we are putting a double crochet in the top of 1, 2, and then in the top of that last chain, which I should have put a stitch marker. So yarn over your hook, skip 1 and 2, jump into that third one right there with a double crochet, go into your second stitch with a double crochet. You're going to hop into this chain with a double crochet, but we are changing colours and we are changing to the cream or the neutral, whatever you used. So you're going to put your yarn over your hook and you're going to start your double crochet, and that is right in that chain there. There's your double crochet. You want to go into that little chain. So pop your hook in, pull a loop through like normal, and you've got your 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, hold it there. Grab your new colour, and here's the cream. Pop it over your hook, pull a loop through, and what you need to do, and this is what I find easier, just to grab your blue and the tail end of your white, just hold it in the back of your hand there, just so you can tighten up this area here, otherwise it all comes loose. Now turn your work like so, like you usually turn, yes, chain 1, 2 and 3. Grab a stitch marker. Okay, now in this round we're going to put 2 stitch markers. This small one will be at the, actually use it, the small one in the middle. The big one will be at the end. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can use different colours. It doesn't really matter. It won't be a problem. So you can put 2 big ones, 2 small ones. It doesn't matter. All right. So you're going to start your row like we did in our previous row. So yarn over your hook. In that first stitch, you are putting a double crochet. Easy. Yes. And you're going to do the next stitch. Double crochet. All right. And this is where things change. But before we do anything else, we're going to grab the stitch marker and we're going to pop it in that very last stitch that we just did right there. Now the reason I'm doing this is just for the newbies, okay? The more avid crocheters or professional ones know what they're doing, they won't need this stitch marker. This is to show you what happens during the next round. You might end up missing this stitch and I don't want you to miss it. So just pop a little stitch marker there for now. Now, this is a part where you can do this 2 different ways. Now, some people do a puff stitch, but I don't like a puff stitch on the kittens in a row, okay? But if you wanted to do a full-on puff stitch, by all means do it, but I'm not going to do it here. We're just going to go yarn over your hook. Now, you see this space right here and the space underneath it. You're going to grab your hook and do like a normal double crochet, and we're going to pop it in the one underneath there, not this space here, but the one right underneath. So we're going to work around all of this, okay? It's a little tricky to start off with, but once you get the hang of it, it's really quite simple. So yarn over your hook, skip that first space, pop your hook in the bottom space, pull a loop through like you're doing a normal double crochet, making it nice and tall. Yarn over your hook and pull through 2. Hold it there. Yarn over your hook. We're going to do exactly the same thing. Pull a loop through like you're doing a normal double crochet. Hold it there. Yarn over. Pull through 2. Now if you want your stitch here to be super thick, you're welcome to do another one, but I'm going to leave mine like that. So you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over. Pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay, so that is one cluster set done. It's actually called double crochet 2 together. Okay, I'll just call it a cluster and I'll call that a shell. That way you know what I'm talking about. In the next shell right there, you're going to pop a shell, which is 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And now we're going to do that cluster stitch, okay? Double crochet 2 together, yarn over your hook, skip the first space, go into the bottom space. We're going around all thicknesses, pulling a loop through, but make it stand nice and tall. Don't leave it down there or it won't work. Make it stand nice and tall. 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Yes? Yarn over your hook. We're going to do that again. Around all thicknesses, pull up your loop nice and tall, yarn over, pull through the first 2, 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, straight into the shell with a shell stitch. That is all this row is, okay? Chain 1 and 2 double crochets. So this is the start of your pattern, okay? Now you've got that cluster stitch again, yarn over your hook all the way into the second space, pull up your loop, I should say first, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, we're doing another one, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 3. Straight into your shell with a shell. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. And we're going to do our double crochet 2 together cluster set. All right, yarn over your hook, Miss that first space, go into the bottom one, pull a loop through nice and tall, yarn over, pull through the first two. Yarn over your hook, do it again. Nice and tall, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and we're doing a shell inside that shell. 1, 2, chain a 1, and 1, and 2. All right, now we're doing our last double crochet 2 together cluster set. Now you must remember to do the last one and the first one, or it's all going to be out of whack. All right, so your last one is right there. So you're dropping not in that stitch, the bottom one right there. So you got your yarn over your hook, straight into that bottom one, pull up a loop, being careful with this last one because I find that this moves a little bit. So being a little bit careful with it, making sure you keep it nice and straight, yarn over, pull through 2, and do it again. Last one is a bit fiddly, pull through 2, and then pull through 3. Now move that over because you really need to get into that stitch right there. This is where I probably should have put a stitch marker for you, like I've done there. I should have put one there for you. But anyway, you can see it right there. You've got one there, and one tucked in. If you're not sure, move it over and it's right there. So pop in a double crochet, 1, 1 in your next, 2, and 1 in the top of that stitch marker. If I can just get into that nice tight stitch, take that out. And finish off your double crochet. All right, what you have is that. Now I wanted to show you that it is curving that way. Don't stress, it does straighten up. Like I said, it tightens up a little bit. That is the way the stitch works, okay? So don't panic. If that's happening to you, it's normal. All right, let's get all this out the way. Okay, so you can see. All right, so now what are we going to do? We're going to flip our work and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Double, put that stitch marker in there, right there. And that's a really tight stitch. And I even think I've split it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for me. I mean, it doesn't matter for you, it matters for me. And I'm going to be putting a double crochet in the first 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. And that's what we do in every round, right? And in this round, we're skipping over our double crochet cluster set there. We're going straight into the shell. It's a very easy round, and we are putting shells inside our shells. 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Super easy, this one. Skip over all of this. So you're skipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're into the shell with a shell. So really all you're doing is putting shells in every shell. It's a basic round, this one. And the next one will be basic as well. So very, very simple. All right. Skip over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the shell with a shell. 1, 2, chain 1, and a shell. Skipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the one with a shell. Well, into the shell with a shell. Shell with a shell. Chain 1. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2. All right. So maybe this stitch marker, silly me, probably should have put it on the bottom row. You don't really need it there, not really. But to help you out, it's 1, 2, 3, and in that 4th stitch right there is where you put your first double crochet. And it doesn't really matter because you will get used to that stitch anyways. All right, so right into that stitch there. So it's 1, 2, 3, in that third stitch, you're putting your double crochet. One into the next. Always remember that's 3 at the end, yeah? And 1 into, yeah, I've done a really tight stitch. Let me take it out. Oh, can't take me anywhere. All right. And we're popping our, oh, it was a tight stitch, double crochet in there. All right. So there you go. Simple, simple. That row, simple as. Guess what? You're going to repeat that row. It is a very basic row. And that is flip your work, chain 1, 2, and 3, popping your stitch marker. I didn't do that too tight, this one. Yay. All right, yarn over your hook. We're skipping that stitch because that has already got the chains in there, and we're popping into there. Very next stitch and the very next stitch. All right, now this is where I want you to put the stitch marker in this round, not the other round, this round. All right, I did make a bit of a mistake before, my apologies there. Oh, it happens. Now you're going to pop a shell inside that next shell. So you're skipping 1, 2 stitches, jumping into the shell with a shell. 1, 2, chain 1, and 1, and 2. All right, and I'm going to let you just head off. I'm not going to stop the recording. I'm just going to pop this on speed, and then you can catch up to me when you're done, because it's shell in every shell until you get to your last 3 double crochets, and I'll meet you there in a moment. All right, and here we are at the end of the row with the last shell, okay, before our 3 double crochets at the end. So you're skipping 1, 2, and you're jumping into the 3rd double crochet. 1 and 2. And 1 in the top of the tight stitch. Oh, you can't take me anywhere. Can't take me anywhere. All right, and 1 in the top of your tight stitch there. All right, so have a look at your work. Have you noticed already it's already turning in? Okay, so don't stress, because mine did exactly the same. And when I measured it across from here to here, it measured a little bigger, like 21.5 or 20.5 or something like that. So don't stress, that will fix and sort itself out. Now, what I want you to do is take that last stitch undone, because silly me, forgot to tell you, we are changing colours. So yarn over your hook in the last stitch, pull a loop through, yarn over your hook, pull through 2, hold it there. Grab your next colour, which I believe mine was the violet. Oh, that big messy pile that you saw earlier. Doesn't matter, still got a thread. All right, so we're going to do that row again. All right, before we do, just grab your little stitch marker, naughty me, and pop it in that. We'll get a smaller one. Pop it in that stitch right there. There's your shell in that stitch right there. So it was your first double crochet that we did, because you don't want to miss that stitch, okay? So you grab your purple or whatever colour you're using, violet I think this is called, pull a loop through. Remember what I said before, hold on to your white and your purple tail, turn your work and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Pop your stitch marker in the top of that stitch there. And yes, I've split it, but I don't mind, I'll fix it up later. Yarn over your hook. Remember, you're already in that one, so you want to put a double crochet in your next stitch. This is very, very, very close, isn't it, guys? And 1 double crochet in that stitch. So you probably really didn't need this one. You more need the one at the end of the row. That's the one that tends to get missed, all right? but a double crochet in that stitch there. Okay, so you've got 3 double crochets. Remember, it's 3 double crochets in the first 3 stitches and 3 in the last in every round. But yarn over your hook, we're going to do that double crochet cluster set again, because this is where we're up to. Now, this is the part, guys, where it's a repeat. That row, and that row, these 3 rows right here, they're a repeat row. So I'm starting the repeat row for you, okay? So pop your hook down, pull that loop through. Okay, you've got your 3 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, hold it there, yarn over your hook, back into that space, pull a loop through. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And from here, we are going to do a shell in our next shell. All right, 1, 2, chain 1, and 1, and 2. So that is what we're doing. We are repeating this round here, okay? Yarn over your hook. So now we are skipping all of that and we are jumping into our big space set right there. Skip the first space, go down into that second one and pull up a loop nice and tall. Don't make it too tight like that or it won't work. So nice and tall, yarn over, pull through the first 2. Yarn over your hook, down into that space, pull up a loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through 2. And there you go. Now yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. What we're going to do, we're going to actually finish off this row together. So yarn over your hook straight into your next shell space with a shell. We may as well finish off this row together. 2, chain 1, and 1, and 2. Now, and there's our space for our elongated stitch or cluster stitch, if you will. Pull your loop up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, straight down, pull the loop up, yarn over, pull through 2, and you've got your 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, straight into the shell. I thought we may as well finish it off. We're at the end of the row anyway. almost. Chain 1 and shell. Finishing off your shell, that is. And there's your space. So yarn over your hook, down into it, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, straight in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, straight into the shell. Right, this is our last shell for the row, not the last space or anything, but the last shell. 2, chain 1, and 1, and 2. All right, so we're here. At the moment, you can actually see that stitch right there, all right? But once we do our very last cluster set, so this little set here, we're going to do that right now, it will actually cover up that stitch a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do our last cluster set. So that's yarn over your hook, right down into the second space, pull up that loop nice and tall, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do another one, straight in, pull up that loop nice and tall, yarn over, pull through 2. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And notice how I pushed it out of the way. If you didn't have your stitch marker in there, that stitch can cover it up and you might miss it, and then just put 2 double crochets in there. And what will happen is that will make your work turn in and become shorter. Your stitches are shorter and your row is shorter. All right, you don't want to miss that stitch. So what we're going to do, yarn over, move your work out the way if you don't have a stitch marker, and pop your double crochet in that stitch where your stitch marker was. If you had one, take it out. You don't need it now. Look what I've done. Look what I've done. I'm such a duffer. All right, pull that loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. All right, and you're doing one in your next stitch, and there's that split stitch that I did before. Remember I said I split it right there in the thread there. Oh, can't do anything right with these stitch markers today, can I? I'm not having a good day with them. Okay, and you're going to pop your last double crochet in top of that stitch. Oh, it's really splitting. There we go. Oh no, I split it. Last double crochet, one more time. Here we go, and we're done. All right, so guess what you're going to do now? What? They're saying, no, don't leave us. You'll be okay. Come on, you'll be okay. This is where we are, okay? Now, all you're doing is repeating this row from here to the white, to the end of the white, over and over and over and over again until you get to your light pink, or your pink if you will. This is called dark pink. So you need to do 2 rows of your cluster sets only. Remember your cluster sets? And then on the 3rd row, you change your color to dark pink and you do this row, okay? Then you do the next 3 rows. When you get to the end of your light pink, when you get to the top of the pink right here, get to your last shell set, okay? Complete it and wait for me there and we'll finish off the piece, all right? But so what you need to do is 2 rows of the purple, which are these 2 rows of the white that we just did before our special row. Let's just call it a special row, okay? 2 rows of purple with shells, 1 row special. 2 rows dark pink with shells, 1 row special. 2 rows light pink, get to that last set and I will meet you up. All right, so the exact amount of rows you need to do are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and remembering to change your color after every 3rd row. So you're doing 3 rows of one color, okay? So you've done 1 color of the purple. You need to do 2 rows of your shell stitch. Then you change to your dark pink and you do that special row. Do 2 rows of your shell stitch, change to light pink, do your special row, do 2 rows of the shell stitch, all right? Get to the end of that 3rd row, the final row of your light pink, and I shall meet you back here in a moment. Good luck, guys. Alrighty, guys, here I am at the end of the last row. Now, the last row, sadly, for us, ends off right there. I wish we had more space to put another one just to make it look like there's a drop down one, but well, there's not much we can do about it. It already measures 20 centimeters and I was trying to adjust it so we had that extra one, but it doesn't matter, you know, one of those things. So let's, oh, did I too close? Sorry about that. Let's finish off. I did my last cluster set there. Now remember we have our 1, 2 and 3 left. So we've got to do those 3s in just double crochets, as we've been doing all along. And the last one, oh, I don't know what I've done there. I've split that stitch. In fact, I think I've even dropped a stitch. Don't ask me how I managed that. The stitch is actually in there. Look at that. Just a really tight stitch. Shh, don't tell anyone. But pop your double crochet in your last chain. So you've done your 1, 2 and 3. Pull a loop through like that. Now, before you cut, check your work firstly. Secondly, we want to do some measuring to make sure that it actually measures our 8 inches or 20 centimeters. All right, so let's grab our measuring tape. Let's give it a gentle stretch, not a lot. Now, grab your tape and go along there. You know what it is? There it is. Hello. Sorry about that. All right. So mine measures roughly, kind of measures exactly 20 centimeters or 8 inches in width. All right. Now, in length, which is the length way, it kind of measures, well, there you go, 20 centimeters and 8 inches. If you were to measure from the dip there, it will measure a tiny little bit more. But the actual top right there is what we want, okay? So there you go. What can we do, hey? We can't do much about it. Maybe once we are joining our squares, we might consider maybe doing a row of single crochet across here. We might consider that in the future. But for now, let's just leave it as it is. Okay, we need to cut our thread. I'm not going to cut that much. It's too much. Why cut that much, hey? I want to save our thread. I don't know why we've got so much of it. So grabbing your darning weaving needle, sewing needle, whatever you want to call it, grab one of the ends. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to show you how to do one real quickly. The tutorial has gone for a long time and I don't want to waste your time. And for those of you who have been joining us for this project, and I've just split that yarn, let's try another one just for fun. I'll fix it up off air. Don't tell anyone. Here we go. Okay, the purple split, pink didn't. All right. For those of you who have been joining us all along, you would have known that some of our ends have already been weaved in. But if you're new today and you've not seen weaving in ends, you can do this any way you like. You can weave in, let's see if I can get a nice close up there for a little bit more. Let's try that. All right, how's that? That's better. You can weave in just by splitting stitches along the sides like that, or you can weave in this way. I'm going to go along the sides because we are actually going to, see how I split those stitches? I don't just put it in a stitch, I literally split the thread. There's a split thread there and there's a split thread there. It's quite a few split threads actually, because we're going to be crocheting over this. Now be careful, don't pull this too tight or that's going to happen, okay? But pull it tight enough that it looks closed. Now we're going to be crocheting over this, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. Well, you want to keep it as neat as possible, yeah? But we are going to be crocheting over it, so don't stress too much about it. And I'm only going to do twice because, like I said, when we crochet over it, that's really going to lock that into place anyways. So I'm not fussed on that one. So there you go, that's that there. Just give it a gentle tug and the knot hides into the stitch. All right, that's that one there. Do the same with the top one. With the top one, you can weave either in and out of there or the sides right there once again. And do the same with that bottom blue thread as well. Weaving under there or along the side, whatever you want to do. But there you go, that is one little Kittens. Let's pretend like, let's just do that. All the ends are weaved in. We're just so good at our weaving in ends. We'll just like click our fingers like that and they're gone. We'll hide all the ends. All right, so you have one Kittens in a row swatch. So there you go. And this is your 10th swatch. So if you want to do the other 9 swatches, then head over to the description box down below. It's a little arrow thing. Click on that little arrow thing and right down there we'll have a playlist. Once you click on the playlist, they will be numbered from 1 all the way up to this one right here. All right, so you have plenty of time to do our swatches. We're not creating the blanket until November, so you have plenty of time to make the swatches. Join me in November to join all our swatches together to make a gorgeous blanket. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all those wonderful things that you guys already do for me. And all I want to say right now is ciao for now.